guys, hope you're doing well. Hope you've all had a good weekend. Just driving to dancing again, so looking forward to it. So yeah, I wanted to speak about briefly, it's quite a large subject, but some of the reasons why people quit the Nutritional Balancing Program, because there's quite a few people that do quit when they start, and you know, this is throughout all the nutritional balancing, all the practitioners have the same thing, and you hear it a lot from other people, and it's a valid thing. And I think, you know, a lot of people wouldn't quit if they understand the reasons why people quit. So I think one of the biggest reasons why people quit is they expect to feel good straight away, and at the end of the day, the belief in nutritional balancing, and from my own personal experience and the experience of others, is that the biggest reason why people are feeling sick for the most part is because they've stressed out their body via various different ways, and they've accumulated a lot of toxic metals, and they've malnourished themselves of minerals. But the biggest issue really is the toxic metals and toxic chemicals, and the vast difference. The body's working completely differently to how it should be working normally. So there's a shock to the system, and a kind of a transformation from a body that's really sick to a body that's particularly healthy. And the issue is the healing reactions. People detox and they don't like it. They don't like the feelings. They're not expecting the emotional detoxes that need to occur on the Nutritional Balancing Program, which is in many ways just as important as the physical. And because we live in a quick fix world, people quit. They think that it's not working, and you can understand where they're coming from a lot of the time, because there's a lot of healing programs out there that people do that genuinely is making people worse. So they're just thinking, well, it's just another thing that's making me worse, but in reality, whereas the other healing programs was actually making them worse, the Nutritional Balancing Program is actually detoxing them. And there's been many times on the program when I questioned the program as well, thinking, you know, this surely isn't working because I'm feeling really, really bad. Another reason why people quit is people think that they know better than the program. And they don't do very well on it. So what they'll do is they'll try and change things around. They'll try and, you know, do different things, and it won't work for them. And as a result, they'll quit. When in reality, they don't trust the program very well, because they think they know better. They've got a bit of an ego, and they'll go and do other things, basically. So they quit. Another issue we find that's very, very common is people tend to be addicted to research. So it's similar to the point before, but a little bit different. They're addicted to finding out information reading articles, Googling things, you know, watching excessive YouTube channels. Obviously there's nothing wrong with kind of doing some research and stuff, but some people are literally, that's all they do all day, and they'll find something that they don't agree with, and they'll just constantly question until they get to a point where they just cannot stick to the program. They'll do something else, and as a result they'll quit because they've seen a conflicting article, or they've spoken to a doctor, and they've basically, out of their own accord, they'll quit the program. Another reason, which is similar to what I've just said, is people getting talked out of it by family and friends. Now this happens a lot. You need to realise that the vast majority of the population are very much fixated on the medical industry and medicine and doctors and nurses, and there's nothing wrong with them to a degree, but the Nutritional Balancing Program is much, much more different. So the first thing that we get is, you know, where's the science? There's a lot of science behind it, but it's like people saying it's not proven. You know, it's Dr. Wilson's a quack. They'll just argue about the articles. They'll find small, tiny things in the articles to argue about, and they'll tell that to the people doing the program, and as a result, the people will listen to them, and they'll quit. And it's a real shame to see that, because it really infuriates me a lot, because these people for the most part, are quite ignorant. They're just hell-bent on dismissing anything that's not mainstream. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, they'll dismiss it. And it's a real shame, because there's a lot of good-hearted people out there that are feeling sick and vulnerable. And you know what usually happens is they'll start the program, they'll feel bad. You know, it's a struggle, it's a shock to the system. They get detox reactions, and you know, they become easy targets for friends and family to just go, oh well, see, it's not working. You know, you shouldn't be feeling tired. You shouldn't be feeling this. You shouldn't be feeling that. They have no concept of healing reactions whatsoever. So it's basically a downhill thing. You know, there's quite a few reasons. Another reason is, you know, a lot of the times people don't keep in touch with practitioners, which is a shame. Whenever something's wrong, they'll just quit and they won't speak to me or speak to other people about it. So they kind of quit for that reason, and the vast majority of the time it's probably an easy solution, you know. So yeah, that's another one. You know, there's loads of different reasons why. I'm just trying to highlight, you know, some of the reasons why people quit, and just to kind of say to people, you know, try and just look a bit deeper, try and read about the healing reactions, try and listen to more of my videos, you know, speak to people on the internet who are doing nutritional balancing program. You know, read Dr. Wilson's articles in depth, you know, read between the lines. Don't just kind of read what you want to read and kind of, you know, where's the peer-reviewed studies and all this stuff, and it's just like, you know, you need to be thinking outside the box a little bit to heal. You know, as good as the medical industry is, unfortunately, it's wrong on so many different levels, and the nutrition balancing program really kind of goes against the grain in that sense. So yeah, you know, I just wanted to kind of give, you know, people who are thinking about quitting, who are worrying or wondering, you know, get in touch with me. You know, ask me a question. Ask a question on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. Glad to be back. Hope you've all had a good weekend. I have indeed. And I'm going to go through a few questions. One of the questions I wanted to speak about anyway, so that's good. And it was about work, how I got on with work doing the nutritional balancing program. And it's difficult, it's tricky. And yep, for the most part, people have to work. I mean, I had to work. I didn't get any health allowance or anything like that, so I had no choice but to work. So in the beginning, I used to work at a garden centre, and that had pros and it had cons as well. In the beginning, I was completely exhausted, so I struggled to keep on my feet doing gardening, doing work in a plant nursery. I really struggled. And I think the people was getting annoyed at me because I was sitting down all the time on the job, because I couldn't really do the job very well. I also had severe hay fever, so obviously working in a plant nursery around summertime is not a good idea. So that was stressing me out. But you just got to try your best. I had to try my best. I mean, like I say, I tried to sit down whenever I could, and I was always looking for more flexible work. So in Thailand, I was lucky because I started working with a practitioner in Thailand called Robert, and I basically worked for him, so he understood a lot better my health conditions. But regardless, I still had to do some work in order to earn money. And by this time I was extremely sensitive to EMF, and I was doing a lot of computer work on a MacBook Air, which was kicking out loads of EMF. So again, I was really struggled with that. But you're constantly trying to figure out how to work properly. So I come back from Thailand, and I was pretty good at designing websites by then. So I tried my best to build up a web design business. I managed to do it. And obviously very flexible. I managed to sort out the EMF issue by using a projector, which was good. But But there's pros and cons. I mean, the cons of being a practitioner, doing website work, working for yourself is, well, I'll say the pros. The pros of being an entrepreneur and working for yourself is much, much better to heal on the program. Well, like, without a doubt, in my opinion. I would try and find a job where you can work from home. I think there's a lot of companies out there on the internet now that are allowing you to work from home. So I really consider doing that, especially in the beginning of the program. It really helps having that flexibility. However, the cons are isolation, of course. There was a point where I felt really, really lonely, and I had to go and find a job that allowed me to work a couple of days a week surrounded by people, and it really helped. I mean, we as humans, there is a need there for us to have a certain attachment with other people on a meaningful level. So I did go out and try and find people to be around. So, but yeah, it's been difficult. There you go. I mean, working from home is, in my opinion, much better if you can try and get around other people as well. So now at the moment, obviously I'm a practitioner, so I am flexible, but I will still work at the place down the road doing web design 2 days a week, which gets me out of the house, which is good. My future plans is to try and do something with nutrition balancing, but with other people. I'm not sure how that's going to manifest, but I've got some ideas. So that'd be really ideal, I think, is to work with other people that are interested in nutrition balancing and developing. Not even people necessarily interested in nutrition balancing. Maybe they're interested in, maybe they're really good at foraging, for example. That's something I'm interested in, is foraging, is connected with nature. Maybe they have some relationship in that way. They can help out other people by providing value and information. Maybe I'll use the YouTube channel for that. Maybe I'll get experts that are related to nutrition balancing that we all enjoy listening to, and they can work with me and we can have some sort of relationship, but we'll see. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Try and work from home, be an entrepreneur if you can. Don't stress yourself out though. It's a difficult one. It's a case-by-case thing. I had a guy who was telling me that he's been struggling for years and years trying to be an entrepreneur on the internet, and I had to say, look, stop stressing yourself out. Try and find someone that's gonna be able to pay you. Maybe you can work from home, but you work for someone. Don't beat yourself up about doing that in the beginning when you're healing. It's absolutely fine. All right, so another question was, how long did it take me from moving from my hands to my feet in the pushing down exercise? I have to stress, I think in the beginning of when I first started, the pushing down exercise was called meditation observation exercise, and it has changed somewhat, the writing of the article, and there was a big prominence on using the fingers to focus on, and now I feel like the article's moving more towards focusing on the feet. It took me around 6 months, 7 months, I think, of literally forcing myself to sit there for 1 hour, 2 hours doing the exercise. I had to force myself. One of my clients recently, she was struggling with the pushing down exercise, and she's managed to break through that. You've got to force yourself to do it. It's really frustrating in the beginning. You've got to force yourself to do it for 1 hour, and just, the brain is like a muscle. It'll one day it'll just slow down and stop, and you'll be able to concentrate much, much better, but you've got to push through a little bit. So yeah, about 6 months, again, things got much easier. I was able to concentrate on my feet. I was able to concentrate on my feet when not doing the push down, when I'm just working or doing something like that. I suppose it is doing the pushing down exercise, because you can do it while you're working. I can do it kind of sat on the bus, walking, not a problem. And then the ultimate one is having that kind of, I wouldn't say blank mind, but having that kind of still mind with the energy running down and focusing on the feet, but at the same time doing the breathing exercise. When you've cracked that, that's really good. Obviously that took me a lot longer, maybe a couple of years before I got good at that. So that's that. I got another question about meat. Do I eyeball the meat when it comes to measuring? Yeah, personally, I just look at it. personally, I think I've got so much on the program. I think if I've kind of been anal about measuring out my food, I think it just takes it a little bit too far for me. I just kind of eyeball it, no problem. I do think Dr. Wilson means cooked vegetables when it comes to the amount. So think about it in that sense. Cook the meat first before you start measuring things out. But yeah, I mean, no, I don't measure things out. But obviously you guys can. Yeah, and that's it. Pretty much it, really. Just wanted to catch up with you guys a little bit after the weekend, and I haven't done a vlog for a few days. I've been busy. I've had a little break at the weekend, so that's been all good. Hopefully, I'm going to crack down a little bit more on the business. I'm going to give the website a revamp. Going to give the YouTube channel a bit of a revamp. Got some different ideas about the moving forward. I'm going to probably start a podcast with people that are on the program and people that I find really interesting. So I'm going to get that on the move. Looking for case studies. I've got quite a few people. Anyone that's on the program who've got some good results from it, give me a shout if you want to come on the podcast in a future thing that I'm going to be doing. Then that'd be cool. I think we need to see. There is a lot of people out there that nutritional balancing has helped, and I think we need to see more of them, just to give people that are struggling or to give people that have just started a bit of a helping hand. All right, so that is everything. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll speak to you all soon. Out.